Welcome back to another episode of Mixology and Mortgages with Hatchman. Today I'm going to talk about buying an investment property specifically as a short-term rental. So we're talking about a property that you're going to throw up on VRBO, Airbnb, maybe even give it to a vacation rental company to manage it for you. Short-term rental properties. We're talking people that are going to rent it for between 2 nights to 30 nights. Major profitability in these. I own a short-term rental property myself, and today I want to show you by the numbers how to really make a smart investment choice when looking for the right property. Airbnbs, VRBOs, they are big right now. They got really big, I think, during the pandemic time because people wanted to travel, but they didn't necessarily want to go to an airport or fly. So you're looking for, places to at least get out of your own house and get into someone else's house. How can you be a savvy investor, pick up one of these for yourself, but can you also make sure it's going to be a smart investment and pay off for you in the long run? First thing you want to look at is location, right? Location is everything. You want to think about why would somebody visit that location? So that's easy. Think about the type of places that you like to visit in your own state. Here in Arizona, if you live in the valley, it gets hot. It gets really, really hot in the summer, and we want to escape that heat. So maybe up in northern Arizona in the White Mountains, or maybe Sedona, maybe Flagstaff, someplace that you can get away from that heat. Those are popular destinations in the summertime. Also, places where it snows. Here in Arizona, at least in the Phoenix area, it does not snow. So we want to go visit snow. We don't want to live in it, but we want to go see it every once in a while. Look at places like Show Low, Pine Top, Page, Greer, Payson. There's a handful of little towns that get snow during the winter months that are a great place to go visit. If you purchase a home over there, you can visit those properties, but the rest of the time when you're not there, you can rent it out on a short-term rental. So here's what I did when I looked into it. I took a look at, for the most part, what are home prices selling for, right? You have to look at the median home price, kind of see what they're going for. You also want to make sure it has the proper facilities to handle your own family, right? So if you want to spend some time there as a family, you want to make sure it has enough bedrooms and it's going to fit your needs. And that's also going to help you identify other individuals that might also want to stay at that property. Research those prices, right? Once you research the prices, obviously we're going to talk to a loan officer, figure out what you can qualify for. That's going to give you a monthly payment. Once you know how much money down you're going to do, again, if you're going to count it as a second home, you can do it as little as 10% down. If it's going to be 100% purely just an investment property, you have no intention of ever staying there yourself, and you just want to rent it out, 15% down is the minimum, 20% is ideal. That's going to give you your base number. So we have our median home price, we have a budget, we have a monthly payment. Now, how do you know that that rent that you're going to make on that is going to help you make money? So next you want to do, get online. Take a look at what current VRBOs and other short-term rental sites are renting their properties out for. You want to look at similar square footages. So if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, what is that rent for? How much is that going for on a nightly basis? Because that's what you're going to charge other customers. Now, once you figure that out, how much is it going to rent out? In your head, for short-term rentals, you want to plan on renting that home out 50% of the year. It may rent more than that, it may rent less, but 50% is a great baseline. So let's plan on, okay, if I'm going to rent it out half the amount of time, how much money do I need to make per night to break even? I know that sounds crazy, but you want to do the math so that you're breaking even on this place based on a 50% occupancy or rental. So that's what I did. We find out, okay, if they rent for $200 a night and I rent it out for 15 nights, that means my mortgage can be this amount, right? Those are the things you want to look at. But there's other costs that go into a short-term rental. Got to get a cleaner, right? We got to get a cleaner in there to handle especially if it's not somewhere that's close to where you live now. If it's 3 hours away, you're not going to be able to drive 3 hours, clean that property, and then come back another 3 hours. That's crazy. So you want to make sure you have a cleaning crew that can get in there. What are they going to charge you, right? And based on that 50% occupancy, based on 2 to 3 nights, you need to plan on that cleaner, how much that's going to cost. That's going to be an expense. The other expense you need to plan for are regular maintenance items, right? How much is the internet going to be? Are you going to put cable in there? The trash services, the utilities, all of those, you need to look at the averages of what they sell for in the area. If you need help with that, honestly, everything's online, guys. Google it. Search the city, search average utilities price, get on a social media website into one of their Facebook groups for the community and ask people what their typical bills are for gas, for electricity, for water. You can research all of that stuff. It takes a little bit of extra time, but if you want to make sure you're making a smart investment, that extra time is going to ensure that you make top dollar. Because again, if you can plan on breaking even based on a 50% occupancy, in most cases, I can tell you that's what I planned on, and it tripled my projections. It's renting out a lot more than what I thought. It's making a lot of money. Now, you really want to take it to the next level. Instead of just pocketing those profits, I recommend taking those profits and investing them. Either one, back into the property so that you can raise the rent or the nightly amount that you charge, or putting that money aside so that you can buy your next investment property and do it all over again and just keep getting that residual income. Because once it's built, once it happens, especially honestly, if you get a rental management company to cover it for you, then it's hands off. That's money coming in every single week. You're still gonna have to handle things, so a pipe breaks or something happens with a property if your management company doesn't do those things. But those are the things you want to research, guys. Do it based off of 50% in occupancy. Find out what the average rent price is. Find out what the sales prices are. And then if you want to see how much you're qualified for, come talk to me. That's what I do. So we got to do a cocktail. It's mixology and mortgages, right? We are going to make the classic Sazerac. Sazerac is a cocktail that's been around for a long time. There is actually a whiskey called Sazerac Rye. It's made for this cocktail, and that's what we're going to make for you today. So it's a very strong whiskey-based cocktail. There's a few things different to this one, different than like the old-fashioned or those types of cocktails. So first off, we have Absinthe. If you've ever had Absinthe, or if you know what it is very strong. It's like a bitter, right? It's what's the black licorice flavor. You either love it or you hate it. There's no in between when it comes to this. We're not actually going to be using this in the actual cocktail. What we're going to do is we're just going to pour it in a glass. We're going to rinse it around, and then we're going to dump the excess and throw this in the freezer. So that's how we get it started. So we're going to rinse it around and take it to the sink here, and we're just going to dump it. What that does, it's going to coat the glass. So then we have our rinsed glass with absinthe. That way you have a little bit of that flavor in there, but it's not going to overpower the cocktail, because if you pour even just a quarter ounce of this stuff, it takes over every flavor profile, and that's the only thing you're going to taste. So we don't want that. We want a nice balanced cocktail. Next, we have our Sazerac. We're just going to take 2 ounces of this, pour it into a stirring glass. Such a cool looking bottle too. Like, it's such a fun whiskey. But honestly, it doesn't have to be this specific whiskey. Anything that's got a strong rye flavor, a good rye whiskey is what you're looking for. So obviously we're going to go with the classic, but that's the one we're using. Next up, we're going to use the Peychaud's bitters. So this one is specific to the cocktail. You do need this specific brand. It's got this red color, Peychaud's bitters. We're going to use 2 dashes of this stuff. And when I say 2, I mean 3. That's my bad. 5 is what I meant. I don't know what I'm thinking. You got to get that color in there. See, that's going to change the whole color of the whiskey by adding that little bit of a red tint to it. Next, we have a little bit of simple syrup. This one is going to be a little bit sweeter. I like to use a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. Again, with that absinthe and with just the pure whiskey, we're really not doing a lot to this, right? It's whiskey, bitters. It's similar to like an old fashioned, except it's been rinsed with the absinthe. We need our ice. And then, as always, stir, stir, stir. Stir it on up, just like that. Stir it till that glass is nice and cold. Just keep spinning it around as fast as you can. You're not diluting it, just getting it cold. Alright, that should be good. Now let's get our glass that we threw in the freezer that was rinsed with absinthe. This glass is kind of fun because it's not straight, it spins around a little bit. Take our Sazerac, pour that right in there. Just like that. Let it spin around, and then we're going to garnish it with just a thin slice of lemon. What you want to do is you want to express that lemon right over the top of it, get those oils out there. Rinse around the top, and boom. And there you have it, guys. Classic Sazerac. And again, I've given you the research that you need to do to help figure out that investment property for those short-term rentals. If you do have any questions or want more details or really want to dive deep into it, that's also something I do for my clients. So I'd be happy to walk you through exactly the steps you need to take to make sure that you can get qualified for that short-term investment property and start making some money. As always, be sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You guys have a great rest of the day.